RuneScape has had a lot of crazy lawsuits and court cases in its past, as it's been around for almost 2 decades. I've covered a few of the more serious ones a couple times, which you should be able to check out in the description, but today I'm going to be looking at a few less well-known or forgotten ones, including one that actually ended up setting an entire country's precedence on virtual goods, and went against a stance Jagex has to this day. So, before we slam the fist of justice down on some of these cases, you should slam down some enemies in today's video sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. So listen, I know you hear about this game all the time, but that's because there's literally millions of people that have downloaded it and played it. For those of you not aware of what Raid is, it's a free-to-play hero collection fantasy RPG. I've only been playing it for about a month, but so far I've really enjoyed it because, to be honest, it's really just easy to play. You just open the app, press battle, and you've got hours of content at your fingertips. My personal favorite part of the game so far is the campaign. Every part features a new environment with new monsters to defeat and potentially collect. Not to mention, this game is actually beautiful. It's for sure one of the best mobile games graphics-wise. But wait, Raid now works on both your desktop computer and your mobile device. It's cross-device compatible, so you can play on the same account and switch devices whenever you'd like. If this interests you, go to the video description, click on the special links, and if you are a new player, you will get 200,000 silver and 1 free champion. All of this is waiting for you right now and will only be available for the next 30 days. Once you open the app, you just click the inbox button in the top right to receive all of your rewards. So first up, this case is probably the most important one on the list. Back in 2007, a boy was biking home from school when 2 teenagers threatened him with violence to come into one of their homes and log into his RuneScape account. They forced him to trade over his gold, an amulet, and a mask. It's believed the amulet and mask actually ended up being a Fury amulet and a green Halloween mask, which at the time was worth a couple $100 US. They then kicked him out of the house and the boy went home. The 2 boys ended up getting taken to court by the boy's family, where the first 2 judges ruled that, as the RuneScape EULA states, the items only belonged to Jagex, and since the items were still in the game, no theft had actually occurred. However, once it got to the Dutch Supreme Court, they decided that the items did count as property, and as a result, the 2 teens were sentenced to 200 hours and 160 hours of community service, respectively. You may be wondering how they actually ended up deciding this and overturning what the other courts said. It's pretty simple, to be honest. The items were sold on eBay for real-life money. This is really major because it's one of the first times digital goods were considered someone's property in a court of law. Like I said at the beginning of the video, it goes against the RuneScape end user license agreement, which states all intellectual property or other rights in any game, character, account, content, virtual currency, and virtual items in the Jagex products are and will remain the property of Jagex and or its licensors. You are only granted limited permission, which can be revoked at any time to use such content or Jagex product. This more or less goes against entirely what the Dutch Supreme Court ruled. As more and more products go digital, I'm really interested to see if this ruling will stand and if other countries may end up citing it in future rulings about similar topics. This next one I included because the author knows almost nothing about RuneScape and it made me laugh a little bit. So it's talking about how a 23-year-old stole 284 RuneScape accounts. The reasoning the author gives is the arrested hacker did not steal the accounts to sell. Police believe the man, who has not been named, simply wanted to boost his own standing in the computer game. I'm gonna be honest, you don't fish 284 accounts just to look cool to other people. In fact, it'd probably do the opposite for most RuneScape players. The author goes on to describe the game saying, the most popular characters chosen by players are wizards, rangers, and fighters, while the most feared monster is the corporal beast, which eats souls. Which does actually make some sense, although it is worded a little weird. However, he goes on to say players can also buy magical potions, including one to make teenager spots disappear, and I have absolutely no clue what he means by this. If you have any idea, please let me know, as I am interested in trying to figure out what he means. This next one is the most recent one, and probably the most ridiculous one. It's been making its rounds on Twitch and recently on Reddit. More or less, a RuneScape streamer was muted, and he decided that instead of just dealing with it, he would file a handwritten lawsuit saying this violated his constitutional rights and that it was a violation of his human rights. There's a slight problem with this. Jagex is based in the United Kingdom and is a private company, so it's about as far away from the United States Constitution as you can get. As you can guess, this case was closed very fast. In fact, it was actually less than a week. But he didn't end up stopping there. Since then, he's filed more and more suits against Jagex, with his latest one again being dismissed by the court. I don't really know what else to say on this one besides we'll see what happens. My guess is he'll probably just get dismissed again and again until he eventually gives up, as I don't really see this going anywhere. This one isn't a real lawsuit, but I wanted to include it because I thought it was funny, and it might also raise some awareness. A player got an email supposedly from Jagex saying that he was being sued for trying to sell his RuneScape account or items for real-life money. However, the player hadn't done this and hadn't played in at least 3 years. The best part of this obvious phishing email is that it was signed by Mod Mark, who is a game developer. He has absolutely nothing to do with legal aspects of the company. The top response to this Reddit thread is simply, "You are stupid." For our final case, we have RuneLite versus Jagex. RuneLite is currently the most popular client for old school RuneScape. Those of you who play mobile or are new to the game may not know this, but Jagex actually threatened a lawsuit against RuneLite back in 2018. But why? Well, I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. RuneLite back then had a few features that Jagex didn't really like, mainly that it was completely open source. Originally, they gave absolutely no examples of what these were, and told the developer that the entire project must be shut down, and gave absolutely no specifics about the copyright infringement claims, and only said legal action would be taken. As you would expect, this blew up in Jagex's face very fast. Overnight, it became one of the most upvoted posts in the subreddit's history. It actually managed to shake the entire gaming and software community as well, with a post on r/games getting over 6,000 upvotes. Soon after, Jagex withdrew their statement and said they'd work with RuneLite to remove the features they disliked. To put the main one in easy to understand words, it deconstructed the default client's code and made it easier for people to make bots. However, at the time, it was already easy for botters to get their hands on a deconstructed client. So that left everyone wondering why. Why didn't Jagex just work with them from the beginning? We'll honestly never really know for sure. Some people think it's because of another client, OS Buddy. It was rumored Jagex received a cut of their revenue. With RuneLite, which at the time was an up-and-coming client, including all of OS Buddy's features, and being free, it was a pretty big threat to their revenue. On the other hand, it's possible this was just a big mistake. It was the first time Old School had dealt with a situation like this, and it was likely just mismanaged. So before I go, I just want to let you know that I've been pretty active in my Discord and clan chat lately. Feel free to join one or both of them. I'm almost always there, and if you'd like, you can shoot me some video ideas or just talk. But that's all I have for today. I have a few more of these cases available that I could do another video on if you found this one entertaining, so let me know in the comments if that's something you'd like to see. I will see you soon.